This is my second time trying to record this video. My thoughts are kind of scattered. I have like a list, but it's not scripted. The name of this video originally, I don't know if it'll be this when I upload it, but I wanted to talk about why narcissistic mothers thrive in a family vlogging environment. This is specifically talking about Ruby Franke and Kevin Franke. I'm including him in here because he is also involved. I don't care what anybody says. And then also Jody Hillbrandt and the whole like cult of connections. So yeah, if you don't know, I feel like you probably do, but with the 8 passenger situation, I wanted to talk about authoritarian parenting, because I feel like a lot of these religious households use authoritarian parenting to control their children, which is like an awful style of parenting, by the way. Like I know that Jody Hillbrandt person is like a licensed psychologist, even though like she lost her license or whatever. This style of parenting is bad. Like, there's nobody with any knowledge of psychology that would be like, yes, this is a great idea. And I think Ruby Franke is actually like the perfect example of authoritarian parenting. So I kind of wanted to go through, I found some articles, which I'm going to link in the description. This is called Very Well Mind, is the name of the article. Little warmth or nurturing. Little explanation for punishments. Few choices for children. Impatient with misbehavior. And mistrusting. Now, all of these are traits that Ruby Franke has displayed towards her children, and we can see this because she has filmed it and put it online. And I also wanted to talk about the effects of authoritarian parenting on a child. So she has her whole like little connections thing, and she thinks that she knows everything. Low self-esteem, difficulty in social situations due to a lack of social abilities. Children may display aggressive behavior outside the home. They cannot accept failure. Your child conforms easily, yet also suffers from anxiety. I think that this is a very textbook example of authoritarian parenting, and I think that if you look at the situation with the children, I don't really want to name any, so there's 8 passengers. Kevin is the father, Ruby is the mother, and then there are 6 children. I don't really want to name any of the children because I don't think that that's fair to say their names, because they didn't ask to be dragged into this, so I'm not going to. But I do think that if you go through the footage, you can see both the traits of authoritarian parenting and the effects in the children. Next, I want to talk about narcissistic mothers. I think that Ruby Franke is a narcissistic mother. I do. Okay, so some traits of narcissistic mothers include inflated sense of grandiosity and entitlement. She thinks she owns the whole house. Arrogance. Fantasies of power, success, or wealth. 8 passengers. Overly exaggerating achievements, talents, or status. I think it's very interesting the way that a lot of, like she's a stay-at-home mom, but she doesn't take care of her kids. She's a stay-at-home mom, but she doesn't take care of her kids. And it's like, okay, well then, like, what do you do? Because the answer is nothing. You do nothing. And you have the biggest ego ever. And you think that you own everything. It's her house, right? Excessive need for admiration. I definitely think that there's like, she does like the love bombing thing to her kids. I noticed, believing that others are envious of them and constant jealousy of others. I would say she constantly puts down other people that have different ideas of parenting. Her way is the right way, and that's it. And then lack of empathy. She definitely lacks empathy. You can't, like, prove me wrong, but she lacks empathy. And then some signs. She doesn't respect your boundaries. A lot of the video titles were extremely personal of those children. She views you as an extension of herself. She owns the children. She constantly criticizes you. She sets unrealistic expectations. She lashes out at any criticism. She's obsessed with maintaining appearances, which I think is very interesting because you see this in a lot of religious families. There is an image that they are trying to uphold. She ignores your needs. She expects you to admire her. She only treats you well in public. She often presents herself as the victim. I feel like this happens a lot in religious households, which is kind of, I wanted to turn into the Turnpin case, which this kind of reminded me of. The story of the daughter jumping out of the window, and because the family was off, or the mom and dad was off vacationing, and she like jumped out of the window and she like saved her and her siblings. We see this a lot, especially in these like fundamentalist households. I actually wanted to reference a video by a creator that I really like. Her name on YouTube is Fundy Fridays. Her name is Jen, and she made a video called like how the quiverful movement, it's like kills or like hurts children, one of those words. I'll link it if I remember. Quiverful is basically a religious concept where you are going to have as many children as possible because you want to make as many disciples for God as possible. Now, in this movement, there is a specific book that is responsible for the deaths of 3 different children, and the book is called To Train Up a Child. And 3 different children across the USA have died due to the teachings in this book by the Pearls about beating your kid and how to make your kid obey you. And seeing this, it makes me think about how I'm very glad that the kid got out when he did. Because if he didn't, these religious cult-like groups, there's a tendency for children to be trained so well that they get killed. They're so obedient that they get killed. And I just want to say that I am really glad that they made it out of there. I personally did not know anything about the 8 Passengers YouTube channel because I don't really rock with family vloggers. I don't do that. But I was watching clips of this woman, Ruby Franke, and she is like textbook narcissistic mother. Actually, I would like to, okay, if I could say anything to the Franke children, a really good book is that I've actually read myself is called Adult Children of Emotionally Immature Parents. Like an entire flock of birds just went by. And it's by Lindsay C. Gibson, and it basically is how to heal from distant, rejecting, or self-involved parents. I think that Ruby Franke and Kevin Franke are all of those things. And I truly wish the children the best. That they are able to heal. I hope that they realize that the world isn't as cruel as their mother is, and that nothing revolves around her. She's just a human being. You don't belong to her. I hope that they grow up and they create, and when I say household, I don't mean having children. I just mean like their own safe space. I hope that they, have their own apartments and have their own houses, and they're able to create a safe space where they truly feel safe. And I hope that one day they are able to be comfortable, because Ruby Franke, her actions will lead to trauma. Like, that's so, like, and I know trauma isn't black and white, but those kids were very hurt, and I really hope that they are able to heal one day. Anyways, I didn't really want to do like a breakdown on the case, because everybody's doing that. I just wanted to kind of send my piece off into the world, and yeah, I hope you have a nice day, and goodbye.